special guest tonight. He has been one of the most respected MLAs for the NDP. He's our own retired MLA from Nelson Creston, Corky Evans. Thank you so much for coming out. So, Corky, how's retirement?
Oh,
I gotta ask, because you know I'm dreaming of it someday.
I wake up every morning and I think, let's see, do I have to go to work for the people today or fiddle around in the yard? And it comes down fiddle in the yard every day.
Well, so why did you retire? Can't be the age thing, because there are people way older than that work in politics. So why did you retire?
There's two ways to leave politics.
Mm-hmm.
One is the people send you home.
Right. So you're leaving on top. Like Seinfeld.
And the other is you decide to go, on your own.
Huh.
And when I was a little boy, one of my dad's heroes was a fighter, a boxer named Rocky Marciano. And I said, Dad, how come you like that guy so much? He said, because he left before they beat his brains out.
Yeah. What do you miss most about being an MLA?
I guess the great honor.
The great honor?
You know, we make fun of it and everything, but
yeah.
You go in this building and you, like there's only, I don't know, there's 600 people that have ever done it in their life representing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you go there and you do the best you can and you go to bed at night and you go, wow, how cool is that they let me do this? And a lot of it sucks, like straight up.
Yeah.
but
there's got to be some perks. There's got to be a couple of.
There's really good pie in the cafeteria.
Well, actually, a small story. I got a chat. I remember that your members of the NDP would tease you about pie and stuff, and we at Sexy Times actually know about that little story about the apple pie. So we were able to get you something. And I don't know when the last time you had apple pie. But for me, it's been a while.
That's very cool. That's very cool. If I put some in my mouth and you ask me a question, then what are we going to do?
Well, I'll give you a second to Well, what do you think was your most memorable moment of being an MLA?
You know, white folks kind of stole this place from the people that lived here before.
It was really good pie.
And then in all of the time of British Columbia's existence, we never agreed to sign any treaties to deal with the fact that we stole it. And then one time while I was there, we signed the first treaty with the Nisga'a people. And they had been trying to negotiate for 100 years and lost. And then a deal got made and they came down the inlet on canoes, dressed in formal dress, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Nisga'a people, and then walked up and read into the legislature and signed the document, and it was like being at one of the moments that changes the world to me.
Yes. Well, it was a moment. It was a moment.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No, that definitely is something to be proud of. We're going to switch gears a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about the election. So, honest opinion, you know, this is probably one of the few elections that you weren't running in. And what did you think of it?
I thought it was the boringest election.
So is that simply because you weren't running?
No, it's not ego. It was just boring.
Well, why do you think it was boring?
For reasons that I don't know, it seemed to me that both political parties had withdrawn to mush and just sweet, gentle, lovely, groovy words that
nobody stood behind.
Yeah, like the great thing about democracy is you get to have a fight.
Yeah. He's coming from a fan of boxing.
Voting is it's a great substitute for guns. And
yeah.
like if there isn't a serious disagreement, then what are the people's, how they, why bother, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and we, people elected, are paid to argue. Why? So that the people watching your show can see both sides of the debate, right?
Exactly.
And when the politicians get up and go, how do you have a fight? Like
so it seemed to me as though, like, you know, I was involved with this election, more so than I've ever been. And it seemed,
thank you.
Well, you're welcome, even though you weren't running this time. We probably did a lot. But the NDP, they almost expected to lose. You know, they didn't seem to go out there and try hard. I mean, you look at their platform, they came into battling and boxing and, like, you know, doing that fight in the end. In the 9th round, when all the 8 rounds before, they were just there because they were expected to be there.
I don't want to criticize the NDP, it's kind of my family.
Well, yeah.
However...
I've never voted for anybody else myself.
However...
I think this is constructive criticism.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're just trying to help.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so what I think is that dreamers and believers and people of vision have been replaced by strategists and pollsters and people with schemes. And so the folks with the big dream who would
go out there and try and change something.
Yeah, and tell you about an alternative future and then get to have the fight.
Yeah.
Have been replaced by people who phone you up and say, do you care about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Which language do you like best? Thank you very much. Now we mix 10,000 of people just like you together. We do a computer program and it tells us what to say back to the people who told us the words in the first place. And those people are now in control of democracy all across the country.
So if that's the case, how can we change that?
By dreaming, by caring, by rejecting that kind of nonsense, and supporting leaders and parties and representatives and aspirants, people who aspire at any level, from school board to prime minister, by
being a part of it.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And refusing to settle for mediocre. If you like. People ought to join the party they vote for and then throw out the leader every single time until they get one they like or believe in.
Exactly.
And go to the conventions and fight for what they care about. It's like if you sit at home, I really don't get how we keep fascism at bay.
Yeah. Well, do you think that part of the problem is that citizens of BC and everywhere actually in most of the Western world believe themselves to be consumers and not citizens anymore? That we have a duty to consume products to keep our country working rather than to be an actual part of our country.
That's a very well said, very brilliant analysis, and I know.
Yeah.
I really hope you got an applause for the answer.